The ancient chamber hummed with silent tension as Elder Advisor Huang studied the complex holographic projections dancing before his weary eyes. Centuries of galactic observation had led to this moment, a profound realization about a species that most considered insignificant: humans. On a distant planet called Earth, nestled in an unremarkable solar system, humans continued their daily lives completely unaware of the cosmic scrutiny directed toward them. Huang's three-fingered hands moved carefully across the luminescent data streams, tracing intricate patterns of human development. The records were clear, yet contradictory. Humans were simultaneously fragile and resilient, primitive and innovative, destructive and compassionate. Their historical trajectory defied every standard predictive model in galactic scientific archives. Where other civilizations would collapse, humans adapted. When confronted with impossible challenges, they invented solutions that challenged fundamental understanding of technological progress. Huang remembered the council meetings. His warnings had been dismissed as paranoid ramblings. "They are barely spacefaring," his colleagues would laugh. How could such a young species pose any significant threat? But Huang knew different. He had studied their patterns, their unexpected wars, their rapid technological leaps, their capacity for both extreme violence and remarkable cooperation. The holographic display shifted, showing human historical moments. A world war that reshaped global politics. The first nuclear reactions. The rapid computational revolution. Space exploration achieved through sheer collective willpower. Each moment represented not just technological achievement, but a fundamental characteristic of human potential: relentless determination. What made humans truly unique was their unpredictability. Unlike most galactic civilizations that followed strict evolutionary and technological progression, humans seemed to operate on pure imagination. They would encounter a problem and instead of accepting limitations, they would dream up solutions that defied conventional logic. Huang's personal research revealed disturbing trends. Humans possessed an extraordinary genetic adaptability that went beyond mere biological survival. Their neural networks could rewire themselves at unprecedented speeds. Their technological systems learned and evolved faster than any known intelligent species. The Elder's report was meticulously detailed. Each data point, each observation was carefully annotated. He documented their capacity for innovation, their complex social structures, their ability to transform internal conflicts into collective strength. Humans didn't just survive, they thrived by turning challenges into opportunities. Most intriguing was their psychological makeup. Where other species would retreat or surrender, humans seemed to become more determined when faced with overwhelming odds. Their history was filled with seemingly impossible achievements, crossing vast oceans, climbing impossible mountains, exploring hostile environments, and now, reaching toward the stars. The Galactic Council would review his report next cycle. Huang knew they would likely ignore his warnings, just as they had for decades. They saw humans as a young, chaotic species, not understanding that chaos was precisely their greatest strength. In quiet moments like these, surrounded by the cold computational systems of his advanced civilization, Huang felt a strange sense of both respect and concern for humanity. They were like a young, unpredictable predator, underestimated, misunderstood, but possessing potential that could reshape entire cosmic ecosystems. The holographic display flickered, showing recent human achievements, quantum computing breakthroughs, early interplanetary missions, complex artificial intelligence experiments. Each advancement happened at a pace that defied traditional scientific expectations. Huang knew what was coming. Humans would not just enter the galactic stage, they would fundamentally transform it. Their arrival would be like introducing an entirely new variable into a carefully balanced equation. Unpredictable. Potentially destructive. Absolutely fascinating. As the first rays of the alien planet's dawn broke through the observatory's crystal walls, Elder Advisor Huang completed his report. A warning. A prophecy. A testament to a species that most considered insignificant, but he recognized as potentially the most significant evolutionary event in recent galactic history. Humans were coming. And no one was prepared. The massive starship drifted silently through the dark expanse of space, its sleek metal hull reflecting distant starlight. Commander J. Park stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing multiple alien vessels approaching their position. This was humanity's first real test of interstellar conflict. The alien confederation had been watching humans for years, believing them to be a primitive species ripe for conquest. They saw humans as easy targets, a young civilization with limited space exploration capabilities. Their first mistake was underestimating human determination. Jay remembered the briefings. The alien races called themselves the Collective, a group of 3 advanced civilizations that had dominated their section of the galaxy for thousands of years. They viewed humans as nothing more than a potential resource to be controlled or eliminated. The first communication came as a typical demand. Surrender territories. Accept subjugation. Provide resources. Standard protocol for a species they believed was technologically inferior. But Jay and his crew had other plans. What the aliens didn't understand was human creativity. While they relied on centuries-old battle strategies, humans had been studying, adapting, and preparing. Their systems were designed to learn and evolve in real time. Every second of the encounter was an opportunity to understand and overcome. The initial attack came swiftly. Alien energy weapons blazed across the void of space, targeting the human ship with precision that had defeated countless other civilizations. But something unexpected happened. The human ship didn't just defend, it transformed. Jay's tactical team worked with machine-like precision. Each alien attack was met with a response that seemed to come from multiple directions simultaneously. Their ship's computational systems were analyzing, learning, and adapting faster than the aliens could comprehend. Target identified, a calm voice announced from the tactical station. Developing counter-strategy in real time. The alien commander couldn't believe what was happening. Their most advanced weapons were being neutralized by a species they had considered primitive. Each attack was not just defended against but turned into an opportunity for counterattack. Humans had learned something crucial about space combat that other civilizations had forgotten. It wasn't about having the most advanced technology, it was about how quickly you could adapt and innovate. Every moment was a chance to learn, to grow, to overcome. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the alien fleet was decimated. Not through superior firepower, but through an approach to conflict that was entirely foreign to them. The humans had essentially rewritten the rules of space warfare in a single engagement. Communication intercepts revealed the shock among the alien leadership. How could a species they had planned to conquer turn the entire conflict on its head? Their strategic models, developed over thousands of years, had completely failed to predict human behavior. Jay understood something deeper. This wasn't just a military victory. It was a demonstration of human potential, the ability to turn any situation into an opportunity for growth and victory. The aliens had seen humans as a problem to be solved. Humans saw the conflict as a challenge to be overcome. As the last alien ship disappeared from their scanners, a strange silence fell over the human vessel. They weren't celebrating. They were analyzing. Learning. Preparing for the next challenge. The galaxy had just received its first real lesson about humanity. They were not just another species to be conquered. They were something entirely different, a force of nature that could adapt, overcome, and transform any situation. Back on the alien homeworlds, leadership would soon receive the devastating reports. A young human commander had done what no other civilization had ever accomplished, completely dismantling a superior force through pure innovative thinking. Jay Park looked out at the stars. This was just the beginning. Humanity was entering the galactic stage, and they were making it clear they would not be underestimated again. The universe was about to change. And humanity would be the ones changing it. The research station hummed with an electric intensity that felt almost alive. Dr. Eun Kim stood before a wall of complex holographic displays, her fingers moving across translucent screens with practiced precision. Something extraordinary was happening, a breakthrough that would change everything humans understood about technology and adaptation. For months, her team had been studying the unique neural networks captured from their recent space encounters. What they discovered went beyond traditional scientific understanding. Human technological systems were learning and evolving in ways no other civilization had ever achieved. The alien technologies they had encountered during previous conflicts provided unexpected insights. Most species designed rigid technological systems with predetermined limitations. Humans did something completely different. They created systems that could fundamentally redesign themselves. "Look at this," Un whispered to her colleague, pointing at a particularly complex neural mapping. Where traditional computational systems would show fixed pathways, this showed something more dynamic, almost organic in its ability to reconstruct and adapt. Their current project focused on developing a new type of adaptive computing system. Traditional computers processed information. These new systems would learn, predict, and transform in real time. It wasn't just about solving problems anymore, it was about understanding and reimagining them entirely. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. During a routine simulation, their experimental system began generating solutions that were not just correct, but revolutionary. It was solving complex mathematical problems by creating entirely new computational approaches that no programmer had initially coded. Alien technological archives they had recovered suggested such adaptive systems were theoretically impossible. Technological evolution, according to most galactic civilizations, followed strict linear progressions. Humans were proving that rules were meant to be reimagined. Each test revealed more about human potential. The adaptive system could integrate different technological paradigms, learn from multiple data sources simultaneously, and generate solutions that challenged fundamental scientific understanding. It wasn't just intelligent, it was creative. Military researchers were particularly interested. An adaptive system that could learn and transform during active conflicts could change the entire nature of strategic planning. No longer would humans be limited by predetermined battle strategies. They could generate solutions in real time. Un understood the deeper implications. This wasn't just a technological breakthrough, it was a fundamental reimagining of how intelligence could function. Humans were creating systems that mimicked and potentially exceeded biological learning capabilities. The global scientific community watched with a mixture of excitement and concern. Some celebrated the potential. Others feared the unknown implications of technologies that could essentially redesign themselves. Humans had always been good at pushing boundaries. Preliminary tests showed the system could integrate multiple technological frameworks. It could switch between quantum computing, biological neural networks, and traditional digital systems without losing computational integrity. Each transition happened seamlessly, almost elegantly. During one critical demonstration, the system solved a complex spatial navigation problem that had challenged mathematicians for decades. It didn't just solve the problem, it generated multiple solution paths, each more innovative than traditional approaches. Alien technological archives they had recovered became unexpected resources. Instead of simply studying them, humans were learning, adapting, and then transforming that knowledge into something entirely new. Where other civilizations saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. The research station felt different now. There was an energy of possibility, of potential waiting to be unlocked. Humans weren't just catching up to other galactic civilizations, they were creating entirely new technological paradigms. As night fell and the station's artificial lighting adjusted, Un looked at the complex neural maps surrounding her. Each display represented not just a technological system, but a glimpse into humanity's extraordinary potential. The galaxy was about to change. And humans would be the ones changing it, one breakthrough at a time. The stars burned coldly against the vast darkness of space as Commander Sook's fleet approached the contested sector. Humanity had been pushed to its limits, facing a massive coalition of alien civilizations determined to crush their emerging technological power. 12 alien species had united in what they believed would be humanity's final confrontation. Their massive fleet stretched across multiple star systems, a technological marvel of coordinated military might. They were confident. They were prepared. They were wrong. Sook understood something the alien confederacy did not. Conflict was not just about firepower, it was about adaptability. Each moment was an opportunity to learn, to transform, to overcome. Where traditional military strategies saw battles as linear engagements, humans saw them as dynamic ecosystems of constant innovation. The first wave of alien attacks came swift and powerful. Energy weapons that had destroyed countless civilizations blazed across the void. But human ships did something unexpected. Instead of simply defending, they began to analyze, adapt, and counter in real time. Computational systems aboard human vessels were learning faster than the aliens could attack. Each weapon signature was instantly analyzed, its potential trajectories predicted, and counter strategies generated within milliseconds. It wasn't just defense, it was a form of technological judo, turning the enemy's strength against them. Alien commanders watched in growing horror as their most sophisticated attack patterns were systematically dismantled. Weapons that had been developed over centuries were rendered ineffective within minutes. Humans weren't just fighting, they were fundamentally rewriting the rules of space warfare. Sook's tactical approach was revolutionary. Where traditional military doctrine suggested rigid formations and predetermined strategies, his fleet moved like a living organism. Each ship communicated, adapted, and responded as a collective intelligence. They were not just a military force, they were a dynamic, learning system. Strategic intercepts revealed the growing panic among alien leadership. Their unified confederation began to fracture. Species that had collaborated for thousands of years suddenly questioned their collective strategy. Humans had introduced an element of unpredictability that their ancient battle models could not comprehend. The psychological warfare was as significant as the physical confrontation. Humans understood that true victory was not about destroying the enemy, but about making them question their fundamental understanding of conflict. Each engagement was a lesson, each battle a demonstration of human potential. Technological breakthroughs developed during previous research now found their ultimate expression. Adaptive computational systems integrated with military hardware created a fighting force that was simultaneously defensive and offensive. They could predict, counter, and transform faster than any known civilization. As the confrontation continued, alien communications became increasingly fragmented. Their unified front was collapsing. Species that had dominated galactic politics for millennia were now struggling to understand an enemy that refused to follow any expected pattern of conflict. Sook watched the holographic displays, his team working with machine-like precision. They were not just fighting a war, they were conducting a comprehensive study of galactic military dynamics. Every moment provided data, every engagement an opportunity to learn and grow. The turning point came unexpectedly. A seemingly minor tactical adjustment transformed the entire battlefield. Human ships began using the very energy weapons of their enemies against them, redirecting and amplifying destructive capabilities in ways that defied traditional understanding. Alien fleet commanders could not believe what they were witnessing. Humanity was not just defending, they were systematically dismantling a military confederation that had been considered undefeatable. Each victory was not just a military achievement but a fundamental challenge to established galactic power structures. As the final stages of the confrontation approached, it became clear that this was more than a war. It was a demonstration of human potential, a civilization that could transform challenges into opportunities, that could learn and adapt faster than any known species. The stars continued to burn coldly, silent witnesses to a conflict that would reshape galactic understanding forever. Humanity had arrived. And they were here to stay. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this part of the story? The Galactic Central Council chamber fell silent as the holographic reports played. Centuries of established power structures were about to crumble. Humanity had done what no civilization thought possible, they had fundamentally transformed the understanding of intelligent life. Delegates from hundreds of alien civilizations watched in stunned disbelief. The young human delegation, led by Eun Kim and Jae Park, stood calm and composed. They weren't conquerors. They were representatives of a new way of thinking about existence, cooperation, and potential. Elder Advisor Huang's ancient predictions had been completely validated. The warnings he had issued decades ago were now historical fact. Humans were not just another species to be categorized or controlled, they were a transformative force in the galaxy. The reports were undeniable. Humanity had not only survived multiple attempts at destruction but had emerged as a collaborative, innovative civilization that could adapt faster than any known intelligent life. Their technological breakthroughs had rewritten fundamental understanding of scientific progress. What made humans truly unique was their approach to challenge. Where other civilizations saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. Their neural networks, their computational systems, their social structures, everything was designed to learn, grow, and transform continuously. The most shocking revelation was not their military capabilities, but their capacity for understanding and integration. Humans didn't seek to destroy other civilizations, they sought to understand, collaborate, and create something entirely new. Their technological innovations were shared, not hoarded. Diplomatic protocols were being rewritten in real time. The old galactic systems of hierarchy and control were collapsing. Humanity introduced a new model of interaction, one based on mutual growth, shared knowledge, and collective potential. Scientific archives from multiple civilizations were now being re-evaluated. Humans had challenged every existing model of technological and social development. They showed that intelligence was not about fixed capabilities, but about continuous adaptation and imagination. The human representatives didn't celebrate. They analyzed. They understood this moment was not an endpoint, but another beginning. Each diplomatic interaction was an opportunity to learn, to grow, to create something unprecedented. Alien civilizations that had once sought to destroy humanity now sought their collaboration. Human adaptive technologies were revolutionizing everything from medical systems to space exploration. They weren't just participating in galactic civilization, they were reshaping its fundamental understanding. Eun Kim's research on adaptive neural networks became the foundation of a new scientific revolution. Technological systems that could learn, predict, and transform were no longer theoretical, they were reality. Humanity had turned scientific imagination into practical innovation. The psychological impact was profound. Civilizations that had existed for millennia now recognized they had much to learn from this young, dynamic species. Humans had introduced an element of unpredictability that was both terrifying and exciting. Commander Sook's military strategies were now being studied in academic institutions across hundreds of star systems. They represented more than tactical brilliance, they demonstrated a fundamental approach to problem solving that went beyond traditional military thinking. As the council proceedings continued, it became clear that this was more than a diplomatic meeting. It was a moment of cosmic recognition. Humanity was not just entering the galactic stage, they were fundamentally transforming what that stage meant. The old rules were gone. The established powers were being reimagined. And at the center of this transformation was a species that most had once considered insignificant. Humans had proven that potential was not about age or established power, it was about imagination, adaptability, and an unwavering belief in possibility. Elder Advisor Huang, watching from the sidelines, allowed himself a small smile. His warnings had been heard. His understanding validated. Humanity was exactly what he had always known they would be: unstoppable. The galaxy would never be the same again.